Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Beyond Sunday, where we desire to take the conversation deeper. We're back in person, and so I'm here sitting next to Shay. Shay, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. So Shay tweaked her neck,
Oh.
and so if she's not able to turn her head without moving her shoulders as well, can you show us how that works?
It's like Batman. I can do it this way is okay.
Is that how Batman turns
Yeah,
his
he's
head?
like this.
Oh,
Like that.
is that right? It's because his belt's so massive. He's got all these tools on it.
No, that's why. I think his shoulder muscles are so, or his neck muscles are so big he can't.
They're all just one,
Yeah, so he's just like,
one
he
thing.
lost some mobility.
Hey, can you touch your chin to your shoulder?
Right now?
No, that's Batman.
Oh.
All right, hey, before we dive in, take a look at this video.
All right. So welcome back, Devin, Easter Sunday, and tell us where we were at. What was our big idea this week?
Yeah, Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, we were still in this like on this guided journey and learning more of the character and nature of God. But this one is this like give thanks to the Lord. His love endures forever. That God is a God whose love endures forever. We see that through the arc of the story of Scripture from Old Testament to New Testament, but really this overarching or truth that God's love endures forever, and that on Easter Sunday specifically, as we remember that the tomb is empty and that Jesus is alive, is that is a physical representation of how God's love is enduring forever through his son Jesus, who conquered death. And so we were in Psalm 118, even some other of the scriptures, Luke 24, story of the resurrection, as well as you were even sharing some Isaiah 65, I believe. I went fast forwarded to Acts 10 and looking at Peter's message or conversation with Cornelius and his household, that this love that endures forever, God's love that endures forever, is not just for God's chosen people, the Israelites or the Jews, but for everyone. Because Cornelius is a Gentile, as we are Gentiles. Anybody who's not a Jew by blood is a Gentile, and that Peter in this story in Acts 10 is like taking this good news of Jesus, who he is, what he's done, and this belief in him offering us salvation, forgiveness of our sins, and a way back to God. And for Gentiles, a way to God that didn't involve all the sort of traditions and things that they would have had to walk into to even convert to being a Jew, but would in no way be by blood. It just would never happen. And so that's where I fast forwarded it to Acts 10 of like, this is for all of us, this love of God that endures forever.
Yeah. It's for me, so kind of what you're saying, that the enduring love, and especially the kind of talked about like God's steadfast love before Jesus comes and what that looked like now with the resurrection, what we're even 2,000 years later is currently still living in this like truth of the resurrection and the way that was, like you just said, love embodied, but then also the steadfast love that is to come. And that's where Isaiah 65 came in for me, because there's this, well, in much of the prophetic scriptures, but in Isaiah, this idea, he says, my servants will, is it there? Nope, down. I'm creating a new heavens and a new earth. And then the sound of weeping and crying will be heard in it no more. No longer will babies die when only a few days old. No longer will adults die before they've lived a full life. And he goes on just talking about like what this is going to be like. And there's just something so it just speaks to this love that's like it has always been. And actually every part of this history of humanity, the biblical narrative, every part of that actually points to this steadfast, enduring love and this like um because of God's love, every piece of this exists.
Yeah, and what a hopeful world. Word even from Isaiah, who they that's not coming yet.
Right.
They're not living into that.
Right.
But there is a hope there, where there also is a hope for us through believing in Jesus.
Yeah.
And the forgiveness of our sins that his death and resurrection offered us, and believing in him and walking with him. That what a hopeful word. And that's sort of what came to me even on Sunday, is like, this is not an Easter message.
Mhm.
This is an everyday word that we can say yes to.
Right.
We can say yes to this invitation, yes to Jesus. That there is hope there.
Yeah.
And I see that, I hear that in Isaiah, the hopeful, that we are in the now and the not yet. Right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
we still deal with death, with cancer, with brokenness in the world that is all around us. It's not hard to look and see. And so we see where that exists all in our lives and around us.
Yeah.
Yet even what I hear in Isaiah is that this is coming. There is still a coming to this new heaven and new earth. This even the return of Jesus, which we anticipated, hope for eagerly.
Right.
Yet we're living in the now. We're living in a world that is in some ways opposed to God's kingdom. It stands in opposition to it. Yeah, there's just heartache, brokenness. There's people who I'm in relationship with, or I just see them hurting and struggling, and in that I know that Jesus
Yeah.
is there.
Yeah.
Jesus is with us in the now, as we even have foretastes of the not yet, moments of healing, moments of restoration, of reconciliation, redemption that's taken place. That there are those moments that we get just a glimpse, like a flash or a taste, a foretaste of like what Isaiah is talking about.
Right. Right. And that but we have to be willing to look for those things, and I like to expect or understand that God does offer that here and now, even before the not yet. And that was the thing overall that's where we kind of were at yesterday, because Luke 24, like the Easter story, right? The women go in the morning to the tomb and
Can't find the body.
They can't find the body, but then this question, right? They can't find the body. The men are there and they ask this question, why do you seek the living among the dead? And that, I mean, that question is powerful in and of itself. But I was reflecting on like probably their answer. If I'm the women, I'm thinking like, we're looking for the dead among the dead.
This is where he was placed.
But even that, like they didn't go there expecting hope or looking for hope.
Mm-hmm.
That ship had sailed for them, really, right? Like they went there to grieve. They went there to do the rituals and the ceremonies. Like, okay, well, we know how to grieve. We know what to do with loss. So even that question of like, why do you seek the living among the dead? At least for a moment, until they're reminded, right? Then they continue, remember what he told you. But before that, for a moment, I imagine they're like, I'm not looking for somebody living. He died. And that for me, I told you yesterday morning, this thought came in the shower, which always I'm like, really, right now? But I had this picture of plants and flowers, and even like we both in our homes have a number of Lego flowers, right? And this idea,
because they don't die.
Exactly. Exactly. But here's the thing, like, so what I ended up doing is running to the store yesterday morning and getting a bunch of cut flowers and then a plant. And this, for me, it was this idea of like, am I trying to water and pour, find life from something that's actually already dead? Because cut flowers are dead, right? They are in the process of dying. They're, no matter how much I care for them, how much water I pour into the vase, they are going to die.
Yeah.
And how often am I expecting these life-giving things like joy and hope and love, and I'm looking for them in places that are already dead. And God's like, no, that's not where that comes from. And then even for me, or how often have I just accepted, like, I'm not actually even looking for life. And so with like a Lego flower, like, I know this is dead. It's dead from the start. And that's great in my home. But in my life, if I've settled for something less than life, and I'm like, you know what?
Mhm.
It's okay.
Yeah. I get a picture and I have the colors of what it could be for the things that are alive, but this will never be alive.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna settle for that. And the women are at the tomb and they're like, we're not even looking for life. We're looking for the dead man that we put here so that we can mourn him and grieve him. And I just, in my life, I'm like, there's so many places where I think I've settled for that, or where I'm desperately trying to pour water onto something that's not gonna be alive. It never has been.
Yeah.
And then that idea of like this living plant that I can't keep alive, because I literally can't keep a plant alive.
Yeah.
But the beauty of the gift of what Jesus does on the cross is he's like, I'm going to keep this alive for you. I will keep the water on it. I will take care of this thing. And all you actually have to do is just say yes to this gift.
Say yes, enjoy.
Yeah, delight in it.
Yeah, what it will produce.
Breathe the life-giving like
Yeah.
air from it.
So question is, do you still have the plant?
Yes, but I'm going to give it as a gift
You get-
because it's going to die.
If a plant exists in your home, it will die.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're like, yeah, just give me cut flowers because these things will die anyway. Fun fact about me, I to Lori, I will never give her cut flowers.
Yeah.
Because I early on in our marriage, I would do the cut flowers when I could afford it, and then also when I was like, I probably should because
you got yourself in trouble. I said something.
I may have said some things that I shouldn't have. But early on, like a year or two into marriage, I'm like, this is dumb. I'm getting flowers that are dead. They look really good in the moment, and in the moment that I give it, it looks the best it will ever be. Because from that point,
it's just dying already.
It's already on its way to death.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is not how I desire to give gifts. This is especially to my wife. I want to give a gift that there's an opportunity for it to grow into the best that it will ever be. Although Lori, in kind of the same way, she's been able to keep two plants alive in our marriage.
Yeah.
One is still growing and the other one, the dog bit in half.
Right. So thank God for Lego plants.
But I was like, I'm not giving dead things. I want to give things that have the potential to live and to grow. Especially to Lori, I want to give gifts that there is life here.
Right.
And if we tend to it, and if we are aware of what it needs, it will grow in the same way like our relationship with each other. If we're attending to it,
right,
if we're caring for it, if we're recognizing in moments, here's what it needs here, it will grow.
Yeah.
With Jesus there, we can trust that he'll make us aware, provide what we cannot provide ourselves. And that was the sense of for me in this piece of like yeah, why are you looking for the living among the dead, or like there are other things we're looking for to like fill that that piece, that gap, that hole, and those things are only just like a mere image, or we're hoping for the things that God created in that place for us to take, like, oh yeah, nourish me here, or take care of me here. And I was like, no, I'm the one. I want to nourish you here. I want to care for you here, not this thing I've created that you've now taken to replace me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had seen this quote that said something like, if you water a dead plant long enough, you'll start to think you're the problem. And I just, that idea of how often humanity has given up hope because we're looking in all of these places and we're just trying so desperately. And sometimes that's in big ways and sometimes it's in small ways, where it's like, I'm trying to find fulfillment. I'm trying to find, or even like, I don't know, for me, what came to mind was a relationship that I had that, I think I was trying to like, uh, pour something into that maybe God was like, that's not the level or the depth that I actually have for you in that relationship. Not because it's a bad thing or whatever, but I was trying to make it more than it maybe God wanted it to be. And so just the futility of trying to keep something alive that actually isn't or hasn't been, or God's like, that's not where it comes from. And so I do, yeah, I don't, that idea of like, I don't know if I had thought of it that way, but they didn't go there looking for hope.
Mhm.
In that point, it was like, just let us grieve, just let us grieve. And it wasn't until they're reminded, like, what are you even looking for here?
Remember what he said when he was with
Yeah,
you, right? Yeah.
yeah. What are you looking for?
And it's that in that moment they realize, oh, yeah, he is alive.
Yeah,
Um, he's not here. He's told us this would how it would go. And even
right.
Peter
Yeah,
running there and
exactly.
is like looking into the tomb,
Right.
like, what is going on? What
Hmm.
wondering what had happened.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's where I fast forwarded to like Peter standing at the tomb, wondering what has happened. And in Acts 10, it's like, here, this, or Acts 5, I mean,
This is what has happened.
this is what has happened, and he's retelling this news, this
Hmm.
story, to Cornelius and his household and other Gentiles who are listening. And so at that moment of wondering what had happened to that, no, this is who
Hmm.
Jesus is, um, and where we can put our hope and faith, because that's too some of the like this God's love enduring forever. What is it that I am where who or what is it that I am attaching the thing that God desires to pour out
Hmm.
over me and offer me as a gift that I'm looking somewhere else for. I'm
Right.
looking for, like you said, fulfillment. I'm looking for satisfaction.
Right.
You know, whatever it happens to be, from something other than God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm left when it doesn't work out, disappointed
Right.
or frustrated, uh, that this has been all along what God has desired to offer me the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. And trusting in that, in the quiet, right? So we talked a lot about Silent Saturday, or whatever we want to call it, but that in between day and space, which is where the women, it's where the disciples find themselves. Um, and again, there's something about like, for us as followers of Jesus now, right? We know like, okay, Good Friday, and we know what that is, and we know why we call it Good Friday, and we know like Sunday is coming and whatever. And so we whatever Saturday might look like for us, whether literally for some people it's a busy day on a holiday weekend, or figuratively, like as we're reflecting and whatever Saturday might look like for us, for them, it was fully unknown, and likely was like, well, here's the start of the rest of whatever this is going to look like.
Yeah.
um and I had seen, actually a friend of ours had sent a text with an article thing talking about, like on kind of walking through, like on Good Friday it didn't feel good, and there's a Sunday coming where things are fulfilled and everything is good and everything's right and everything's true. But what are you doing in the Saturday? And in some really like specific ways, right? So like uh in your Friday, maybe you've lost your home. And Sunday is coming, and we don't know when it's coming, but there will be a day that God says, here, you have the keys to this mansion, and I have prepared a place for you. But in the meantime, in the waiting, your stuff is in boxes and you don't have a place to lay your head. And that, walking through some of those things, those like really heavy, hard things. And I just, for me, there was such this reminder when you lay that truth, because all of us are in some kind of a Saturday right now, right? Where it's like, this thing has already happened. This bad, hard thing on the Friday has already happened. And I don't know when Sunday is, but right now I'm doing what I can with what I have, like the women bringing spices to the tomb. Like I'm doing what I can. But when you lay that over the truth of God's steadfast love then and now and not yet, then it gives me a little bit of a map to go, okay, this is not what we're waiting for. And there is a day coming, but also in the right now. Don't let me ever for a moment think that in his silence, it means he doesn't love me or that he's not working or that he's
Yes.
not in control.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, which I think goes back to the Psalm 118.
Right.
And like this, his love endures forever. There is no end here.
mhm,
And he is with us, whether it is on the hard thing on a Friday, the silence or the waiting of a Saturday, or the fulfillment
right.
of all of those promises and truths of God on a Sunday. And that's I suppose that piece too in this Resurrection Sunday is that every day is a resurrection day. Every day, not just the high holy days, not just Easter, not just Christmas, but every day there presence of God, um, the invitation to be in his presence, the mission he's called us
mhm,
into is there before us.
mhm.
And maybe for me there's a sense of like getting caught up in the I don't want to get caught up, but it must go beyond Easter.
Well, yeah, because otherwise that's a big letdown.
Yes, that's what I mean. I'm like
Yeah.
the Monday after Easter, not to be this like we made it through, but like no, there's still God is still with us. He's
Yeah.
still at work. He's still desiring to redeem and reconcile this world, and he's inviting us into that work. In fact, he's doing it in our lives, and we
Mhm.
testify to that. And that is that message in the invitation Jesus gives to his disciples at the end of Luke 24. Like, this is what I've called you into.
Yeah.
This is what I've done, and now go. I mean, wait here for the Holy Spirit, but then go.
Wait, but then go. But that's why the early church called this Bright Monday, right? For that very reason, because it is like, and imagine the women and the disciples. So Sunday happens. Why are you looking for the living among the dead? And then they're like, oh, that's right. We do remember what he said. And they go back and the disciples, like, oh, I forget the word, but it sounded like nonsense. The story sounded
Yeah.
like nonsense
Yeah,
to the men.
it's ridiculous.
It's
We've
ridiculous.
never seen anyone be raised to life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. But shout out to Peter because he's like, you sound crazy, but I am going to check.
I'm gonna go look.
He looks and as things unfold, the something changed. That's a pivotal moment. So even in the like, this sounds like nonsense. What was once for the women walking to the tomb is no longer as they walk away, and that like we have taken Easter and we put it all like, okay, this is this day that we celebrate. For them, it was just a day until it was like, oh, this is going to change the rest of all of forever for us. And I think
Yeah,
that's the
and you see
invitation.
that at the tail end of every gospel. You see that into the story of Acts, that this is now the new
Yeah.
way. This
Right.
is the way.
Yeah.
We're going to follow Jesus, the Messiah who has come, lived, died, and resurrected.
Right.
And so we are his followers going to walk
Right.
this out.
Well, and I think you and I were having this conversation this morning. And even as we were in prayer this morning, I was kind of hit by this, like, because I'm not so sure. It's almost like, okay, if this is our everyday, then we just like, okay, shout out, celebrate that one time a year, but this is our everyday that we're living in. We are living in the resurrection. For me, even this morning as we were praying, was this I don't know, a conviction or a realization of like how often I might call out the evidence of the resurrection. Like, look how good God is. God has done this. God has given me these things, and I'm walking in his power and I'm walking in his spirit. But I'm not calling out the sacrifice, the thing that it cost him. And I don't know if maybe that's part of this is like, I think it's okay for us to celebrate big and in this rhythm and this calendar, this church calendar to call out like Easter Sunday and celebrate that big. But throughout the rest of the year, my desire is to recognize like everything that I am doing, every opportunity and interaction that I have with God, with his spirit, with the people around me, with the reconciling of the world, all of that is because of that day. And so not that we can't call it out and celebrate it big in that moment, but that we should be doing that in the other days as well. And I don't know.
Well, it's in the calling out. I mean, it's in the recognizing the cost and the suffering.
Right.
That also then when we suffer,
Mm-hmm.
does that draw us closer to presence of Jesus, to some of the suffering that he endured on my and our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
And I sense that in some of even Paul's words in Romans and other places of like, oh, there is a suffering that we endure, but let that draw you closer to Jesus.
Right.
Be reminded of what it cost him and his love for you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to share in his glory, you have to share in his suffering too.
Yeah. Be
Paraphrased,
reminded.
but something
But be
like that.
reminded that this is there's something there, and that in both the high points of life and also the low points, that his love endures forever.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this up, what would you say is the Kairos, and what's God saying, and how is he inviting you to respond?
Yeah. It goes back to that question for me. That why do you seek the living among the dead? And so I just I think I need to spend some time looking at whether there's places in my life that either I'm looking for life in places that are dead, that God's like, that's not where that comes from, or that I've settled for something that isn't living. And like the women, I'm like, no, I'm just looking for the dead among the dead. Which, yeah, I just, I sense God is inviting me to do some evaluating of like, mostly because I don't want that to be true. Because of the resurrection, because of the sacrifice Jesus made, that does not have to be. I do not have to settle for things that are dead. I do not have to try to put the work in to create life in a dead space. And so I do not want to miss the gift of the resurrection beyond just like salvation for my soul, in even just some of the smaller places where maybe God's like, you're missing, you're trying to pour water on dead flowers in that space. Yeah.
But the florist gave me this granule powder.
It just gets you like a little bit further. It's just like that's life support.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not, doesn't keep them alive. They're already dead from the time they're cut. They're already dead. You already
they're
said
just
that.
picking up dead stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks good.
It does.
Until it doesn't.
For those who love cut flowers, I'm not saying you shouldn't have cut flowers, but
yeah, if you don't have a conviction to buy dead flowers, don't not do it. But I did.
Marriage is everywhere, turned upside down.
Don't buy me dead things. How dare you?
Yeah.
Buy me something with soil and roots.
No, but see, for me, if you give me,
it's pretty dead already once it's given to you.
That's not what I was gonna say. If you give
I said it for you.
If you give me a plant, then it feels like, oh, now I have to like
that's
work
like
to keep it alive. And then when it dies, it's like there's another place I'm not.
Dang. Is it like when a plant's given to you, it's like is a plant thinking like, shoot, this is death row?
Probably. No, because I shared this quote yesterday.
I'm not making it out of here.
I saw this thing that said, do I kill plants or do they not have what it takes to survive or to thrive in this high-paced environment?
High pace, yeah. You need like a succulent. You need something that lives in the desert.
Do you know what happened?
They die.
Do you know what I have on my desk right now?
A cactus.
Oh, I should try that. I have a succulent. It died. It's dead. So normally, if I get a plant, I just give it to Jamie.
You need like tumbleweed. That'll never die.
Or just not have plants.
Or Lego ones.
Lego plants.
Dear Lord.
It's fine.
Death row.
Please don't give us her. Yeah, okay, what's your Kairos?
Don't give Shay a plant that's alive or dead.
Or dead. Just not plants. There's other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
My Kairos I think has come off this question that you had in your notes that I didn't touch, but it has stuck with me since I saw it there. But your question you asked was, where are you looking for love among the dead things of this world? And that struck me in that there's lots of things that I enjoy in this world, a lot of relationships and things that I get to do, and it all of it is a gift from God, and I know that. But in my walking this out, where is it that my source of joy, source of love, that actually is filling me from the inside out, not pouring into me from the outside in? And I think that for me is a kairos here in this one of just the coming back to the source. So we've talked about a little bit of that with the source with joy, but in this regard with love, and if that is truly inside out, right, from God and then outward to those who are around me, then it would look different, be different, and actually endure no matter the season, no matter the situation. It would endure. And yeah, that I would notice, that I would be aware, and that others would as well. It would be something different. So I think that's some of that kairos for me, of recognizing who is the source, where is it coming from? Am I looking to fill it up and from other places, from the outside in, rather than focusing on God as the source. So yeah, it is good. Well, guys, thanks for listening in, and future maybe podcasts, if someone does happen to gift Shay with a plant, we may have to just like bring it back up and like, hey, it's still alive. It's still.
It feels like so much pressure.
Yes.
It's not going to be alive.
But it could be a good reminder
to just keep a dead plant.
Well, maybe it's not finding the right plant to live.
You know, I even killed bamboo. I had bamboo once.
Bamboo spreads like wildfire. I hate bamboo. It's just everywhere.
Died.
It's like even the neighbor has bamboo, and it just starts growing in your neighbor or in your yard.
Yeah.
You just can't get rid of it.
I can't.
Trade houses. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we hope your conversations beyond Sunday are inspiring you, encouraging you as you live this life for Jesus. Have a blessed week.